My child, do not close this video. Do not let your finger touch that screen. Do not scroll past this moment, because what blocked your blessing has just broken in the spirit. I need you to hear that again before your mind tries to explain this away. What blocked your blessing has just broken. The delay that kept standing between you and the answer. The invisible wall that kept appearing at the final moment. The strange resistance that made every open door suddenly shut. It has just snapped in the realm of the spirit. This is not coincidence. This is not random. This is not the algorithm deciding to show you another video. Heaven interrupted your scrolling because your name came up in a moment of release. You did not find this message. This message found you. You did not click by accident. You were pulled into a divine interruption because there is something God needs you to know before the next door opens. The delay was not permanent. The blockage was not stronger than the promise. The restraint that held it back has been exposed, confronted, and broken. Listen to me carefully, beloved. This word is for the one who has felt close to breakthrough over and over again, but right when the answer seemed near, something shifted. The phone call did not come. The money did not arrive. The person changed their mind. The opportunity disappeared. The peace left. The door opened just enough for you to believe again, then slammed shut so hard you wondered if you had imagined the promise in the first place. But you did not imagine it. You were not crazy. You were not being dramatic. You were sensing movement in the spirit before movement became visible in the natural. You have been living in the ache of almost answered prayers, almost restored relationships, almost approved provision, almost clear direction, almost healing, almost peace. Almost there, but somehow delayed again. And every delay tried to teach your heart a lie. It tried to tell you that God forgot you. It tried to tell you that you missed your moment. It tried to tell you that other people receive, but you only wait. It tried to make disappointment feel normal, but I hear the Lord saying, the cycle of almost is being interrupted right now. That sudden confusion that came every time you were ready to move forward was not normal. That heaviness that landed on you after you prayed was not ordinary tiredness. That pattern of people pulling away when things were about to align. That pattern of money being delayed right when you needed it most. That pattern of hope rising and then getting crushed at the final step. That was a restraint. But the restraint has been judged. The chain has lost its grip. The thing that kept your blessing hovering but not landing has been broken open by the authority of God. And that is why you are here right now. Not later, not tomorrow, not after everything makes sense, right now. Heaven stopped you before you moved past the announcement of your own release. Your spirit already knows this is true. That stirring in your chest, that stillness that came over you, that feeling that this word is reaching into places you never told anybody about, that is confirmation. God is not speaking to the crowd. He is speaking to the one who stayed faithful while exhausted, who kept praying while confused, who kept showing up while carrying private disappointment. Before this message goes any further, I need you to make agreement visible. Like this video as a sign that you agree the delay is breaking, not as a casual tap, but as a declaration that the old resistance does not get your silence anymore. Subscribe if this word is confirming what you have been sensing in your spirit, because the next season of your life will require you to stay close to instruction, close to confirmation, close to the voice that keeps reminding you not to return to fear. And before the main message begins, comment these words with authority. My blessing is released. Type it now. My blessing is released. Not my blessing might come. Not my blessing is stuck. Not my blessing is still under delay. My blessing is released. Let the visible declaration match the invisible verdict, because heaven interrupted your scrolling to announce this. The delay just snapped, the blockage just broke, and what God assigned to your life is beginning to move. Now listen to me carefully, because this is where the enemy has been lying to you in private. You thought the delay was your fault. You thought if you had prayed harder, moved faster, believed stronger, forgiven sooner, spoken better, or made one different decision, then the blessing would already be in your hands. You have been replaying your own history like evidence against yourself. You have been asking, what did I do wrong? Where did I miss God? Why does it open for others but stay complicated for me? And the Lord is answering that hidden question right now. My child, the blockage was not proof that you failed. The delay was not proof that heaven rejected you. The delay was not proof that God changed his mind. The delay was not proof that the promise expired. I need you to let that sink into the deepest place in your heart. God did not speak over your life just to take it back when you got tired. God did not show you glimpses of restoration just to torment you with what you could never have. God did not allow you to sense purpose, provision, healing, and alignment because He was playing with your hope. No, the promise was real. The blessing was assigned. But there was a hidden restraint standing between what God released and what you could fully receive. And that restraint was not just one thing. It was layered. It was fear that kept whispering, "Do not expect too much." It was old wounds that trained your nervous system to brace for disappointment. It was wrong agreement with words spoken over you by people who never had authority to define you. It was the memory of betrayal, making you suspicious of every new door. It was the voice of rejection telling you to shrink right when God was calling you to step forward. It was warfare hitting you at the exact moments of progress, not because you were weak, but because what was coming was dangerous to darkness. Think about the pattern. Every time you started to believe again, something came to shake you. Every time you began to prepare, confusion showed up. Every time you took one obedient step, a relationship became strained, a bill appeared, a fear resurfaced, a memory came back, or someone spoke a sentence that pierced the exact place God was healing. That was not random. That was not ordinary pressure. That was a spiritual restraint trying to rebuild itself through your agreement. It needed you to say, "Maybe this is not for me." It needed you to say, "Maybe I am not worthy." It needed you to come into agreement with delay so the door could stay shut without your resistance. But beloved, heaven saw everything. God saw the tears you wiped before anybody walked into the room. God heard the questions you whispered late at night when your strength was almost gone. He heard you say, "Lord, I do not understand, but I still trust you." He saw the moments you almost gave up and then somehow got up again. He saw the prayers that did not sound powerful, but were soaked in surrender. He saw the way you kept blessing others while wondering when your own answer would arrive. He saw the times you smiled in public while carrying a private ache that nobody had language for. And now I need you to understand the reversal. The restraint was not exposed so you could manage it. It was not revealed so you could live carefully around it. It was not uncovered so you could keep negotiating with fear, keep tolerating old wounds, keep letting unauthorized voices speak over your future. It was exposed so it could be destroyed completely. God allowed the hidden thing to come into the light because what remains hidden keeps operating. But what is brought under divine authority loses its legal grip. That is why the last season felt so intense. The blockage was being dragged out of hiding. The pattern was being named. The wound was being uncovered. The agreement was being challenged. The fear was being confronted. And now the Lord is saying, "You are not unworthy. You are not forgotten. You are not rejected. You are not behind beyond repair." The blessing was not withheld because you were disqualified. The restraint was exposed because the season of delay is ending, and what God is breaking now will not have permission to follow you into the door that is opening next. But now hear the warning clearly, because this is where many people lose what heaven has just released. The warning is not that God is against you. The warning is not that God is angry with you. The warning is not that one wrong breath will cancel your blessing. No, beloved, the warning is this. Do not pick back up the thing God just broke off of you. Do not resurrect the agreement that kept you bound. Do not let an old voice talk you back into an old prison after heaven has already opened the door. Because the old cycle will try one more time to regain access. It will not always come loudly. It may come as a thought. It may come as a memory. It may come as a sudden wave of panic when nothing has actually gone wrong. It may come through a person who used to have power over your emotions. It may come through silence, through waiting, through a small delay inside the larger release. And if you are not discerning, you will think the delay came back, when really you are only passing through transition. Listen to me carefully. Do not return to panic. Do not go back to begging God as if He did not hear you the first time. Do not go back to begging people to recognize what they were assigned to dishonor. Do not chase the one who closed the door. Do not keep knocking on a door that God allowed to shut because your blessing is no longer behind it. Do not keep refreshing the message thread. Do not keep rehearsing the conversation. Do not keep checking to see if they finally understood your worth. Your worth was never waiting on their agreement. This is the final warning over the old version of you. Do not speak death over the promise because you cannot yet see all the details. Do not say, nothing ever changes for me. Do not say, it is always like this. Do not say, I knew it was too good to be true. Do not say, maybe I missed it. Do not let your mouth become the construction tool for the prison God just demolished. I need you to hear this in your spirit. Do not rebuild with your mouth what God just broke with his power. The enemy wants your language. He wants your agreement. He wants your imagination. He wants you to take a holy transition and call it loss. He wants you to take divine silence and call it abandonment. He wants you to take pruning and call it punishment. He wants you to take separation and call it rejection. He wants you to take the space God is creating and fill it with fear, old habits, old messages, old cravings, old validation, old control. But the Lord is saying, no, not this time. You are not going back. Because the blessing broke loose when surrender replaced striving. The chain lost its grip when trust replaced desperate control. The door began to move when you stopped trying to force what God was already commanding. You did not break the delay by panic. You did not break it by obsession. You did not break it by chasing, pleading, proving, explaining, or exhausting yourself, trying to make people see what God had already called blessed. The release came when you lifted your hands and said, Lord, if you do not open it, I do not want to force it. If you do not breathe on it, I do not want to carry it. If you are not in it, I release it. That surrender was not weakness. That surrender was warfare. That surrender was the sound that made the chain lose its legal grip. The enemy could work with your panic, but he could not work with your trust. He could work with your striving, but he could not work with your surrender. He could work with your need to control every outcome, but he could not work with a heart that said, God, I trust you, even when I cannot trace you. So now the old cycle is looking for a doorway, and the doorway will be familiar. It will ask you to overthink again. It will ask you to text again. It will ask you to explain again. It will ask you to shrink again. It will ask you to prepare for disappointment before joy can reach you. It will ask you to rehearse what failed so loudly that you cannot recognize what is forming. But I decree and declare over you right now, the familiar doorway is closing. The old agreement is losing oxygen. The fear that used to govern your decisions is being silenced by the authority of God. Beloved, you are allowed to move differently now. You are allowed to wait without panic. You are allowed to rest without guilt. You are allowed to obey without knowing every detail. You are allowed to let people misunderstand you while God vindicates you. You are allowed to stop auditioning for places that never had the capacity to receive what God placed inside of you. And right now, before this word moves any further, say this out loud. I will not pick it back up. Say it again. I will not pick it back up. Not the fear, not the panic, not the begging, not the old disappointment, not the voice that told me I was disqualified, not the habit that kept me circling the same mountain. I will not pick it back up. Because the warning is not that heaven is against you. Heaven is for you. God is defending you. God is making room for you. God is clearing the path in front of you. The warning is that the thing that lost access wants access again, and this time, your obedience must answer before your emotions do. Do not let a temporary feeling create a permanent agreement. Do not let one quiet day convince you that the promise stopped moving. Do not let one closed door make you curse the open one that is about to appear. The old cycle is not your home anymore. Delay is not your identity anymore. Panic is not your language anymore. Rejection is not your mirror anymore. You are crossing over, and what God broke behind you must stay behind you. And now heaven has reviewed the case. I need you to hear that slowly. Heaven has reviewed the case. Not the version people told. Not the version fear repeated. Not the version the enemy edited to make you look unstable, unworthy, late, forgotten, or disqualified. Heaven reviewed the real record. The prayers you prayed when nobody heard you. The tears that fell when you still chose obedience. The times you had every reason to quit and still got up. The private faithfulness. The quiet forgiveness. The endurance that did not clap for itself. The yes you gave God while your hands were still empty. Beloved, there was evidence on the altar. Your tears were not wasted. Your obedience was not invisible. Your restraint was not ignored. Your worship in the middle of confusion was not forgotten. Your refusal to become bitter was recorded. Your decision to keep trusting God when nothing around you looked trustworthy was brought before the throne. And while the enemy kept pointing at your delays, heaven pointed at your endurance. While the accuser kept saying, "They are tired, they are weak, they are not ready," heaven answered, "They are mine." List Plankerfully. The atmosphere around your blessing has changed because the verdict changed. What was once surrounded by resistance is now surrounded by release. What was once covered in warfare is now being covered in favor. What was once delayed by obstruction is now being moved by divine authority. I see a heavenly order going out over your name, over your house, over your mind, over your provision, over your body, over your relationships, over your assignment, over your direction. And the order says, release what was held, restore what was stolen, open what was locked, move what was stuck, answer what has been waiting. Enough delay, enough torment, enough confusion, enough nights where you cried yourself into silence, enough watching the wrong people prosper while you wondered if faithfulness had been overlooked, enough being last while carrying a right spirit, enough doors opening for those who manipulated while you waited with clean hands, enough false starts, enough almost, enough warfare at the edge of breakthrough, enough of the enemy touching what God already marked for release. I decree and declare over you right now, the verdict has shifted the atmosphere. Every chain is breaking, every false delay is collapsing, every stolen season is being restored, every demonic obstruction is losing its grip, every word curse is being overturned, every hidden trap is being exposed, every confusing path is being made clear, every place where your name was buried is being reopened, every blessing that hovered but could not land is receiving permission to locate you. This is why the pressure felt different recently. This is why you sensed something breaking before you could explain it. This is why old emotions rose up one last time. This is why the enemy tried to pull you back into panic, because he knew the case had already turned. He knew the delay could not keep standing under a heavenly verdict. He knew the obstruction could not survive divine overruling. He knew that once God said enough, no demon, no person, no system, no memory, no fear, no accusation, and no old agreement could keep blocking what heaven commanded to move. Your provision is under release. Your peace is under release. Your health is under release. Your relationships are under release. Your direction is under release. Your assignment is under release. The next step is under release. The wisdom you need is under release. The confirmation you asked for is under release. The strength you thought you lost is coming back under release. The joy that grief tried to bury is rising under release. And do not miss this, my child. The verdict did not just change what is coming, it changed the air around you. That heaviness that used to meet you in the morning will not govern your day the same way. That confusion that used to sit on your decisions is losing authority. That dread that made you expect disappointment is being broken. You are not walking under the same cloud. You are not standing in the same spiritual climate. Something has lifted. Something has turned. Something has been overruled. What held back the blessing just broke because heaven has overruled the obstruction. The old delay has no final word. The accuser has no final word. The closed door has no final word. The disappointment has no final word. God has spoken over the case, and when God speaks, the atmosphere must obey. Move forward like the verdict is real. Breathe like the pressure has lifted. Stand like the order has been signed. Because heaven reviewed the case, heaven issued the release, and the blessing that was held back is now beginning to move. And now you need to understand why the attack was so strong. Because what is being released over your life is not just about comfort. It is not just about you finally exhaling. It is not just about a bill being paid, a door opening, a relationship being restored, or a dream coming back to life. Those things matter, but the blessing assigned to you is carrying something heavier than personal relief. It is carrying calling. It is carrying family restoration. It is carrying testimony. It is carrying generational change. That is why hell fought it so hard. The pressure felt personal because the assignment is personal. The warfare did not just come after what you wanted. It came after who you were becoming. It came after the version of you that would stand up with wisdom, authority, peace, and evidence. It came after your voice before you could use it. It came after your confidence before you could walk in it. It came after your obedience before the next instruction could be completed. It came after your testimony before the testimony had language. The enemy was not merely trying to stop money. He was trying to stop a mouth that would say, "Look what the Lord has done." That is why confusion came right before obedience. Have you noticed it? Right when you were about to move, right when you were about to make the call, submit the application, forgive the person, release the past, take the step, start the work, speak the truth. Suddenly your mind became cloudy. Suddenly you questioned everything. Suddenly the simple instruction felt heavy. That was not because you were incapable. That was because your obedience was about to unlock movement in places you could not see. That is why arguments came before promotion. Right before elevation, the enemy tried to pull you into conflict. Right before God lifted you, something tried to lower your spirit. Right before a new door opened, an old offense knocked. Somebody misunderstood you. Somebody accused you. Somebody provoked you. Somebody tried to drag you back into a version of yourself you had already outgrown. But beloved, hear me. That argument was not just about the argument. It was a distraction before promotion. It was bait before increase. It was an attempt to make you mishandle your spirit at the edge of a new level. That is why sickness tried to touch your body before assignment. That is why fatigue became so heavy. That is why your strength felt drained at the exact moment you needed clarity. That is why your sleep was attacked. That is why your emotions felt unstable. That is why your body carried pressure your mouth could not explain. The enemy knew that if he could exhaust the vessel, he could delay the assignment. But God preserved you. God kept you. God covered you. God gave you enough breath for the day, enough strength for the step, enough grace for the hour, and enough faith to keep saying yes. That is why financial pressure came before provision. Right before release, the numbers looked impossible. Right before supply, lack shouted louder. Right before the door of provision opened, another expense appeared, another delay came, another need surfaced, another reminder tried to tell you that you were trapped. But the Lord is saying, the pressure did not mean provision was absent. The pressure meant provision was being contested. The enemy wanted you to curse the promise before the provision arrived. He wanted you to say, God has forgotten me. He wanted you to agree with scarcity so deeply that abundance would feel suspicious when it came. And that is why isolation came before elevation. Some people had to step back. Some conversations had to get quiet. Some rooms stopped feeling like home. Some relationships could no longer carry the weight of where God was taking you. And the enemy tried to make that isolation feel like rejection. But God was using separation as protection. He was moving you away from voices that would mishandle your next. He was teaching you to hear him without a crowd. He was making your dependency holy again. He was showing you that elevation does not always begin with applause. Sometimes elevation begins with silence, pruning, and a table being prepared where only God can take credit. My child, if the attack could have destroyed you, it would have already done so. I need you to receive that. If hell had permission to take you out, you would not be here listening right now. If the pressure had the final authority, you would not still be breathing. If the weapon was stronger than the covering, you would not still have faith after everything you survived. The fact that you are still here is evidence. The fact that you still believe is evidence. The fact that you still pray, still hope, still listen for God, still want to obey, still care about your future, that is evidence that purpose survived the assault. You are chosen. You are covered. You are marked. You are preserved. You are dangerous to darkness because you kept believing under pressure. You are dangerous because disappointment did not make you deny God. You are dangerous because delay did not make you surrender your destiny. You are dangerous because betrayal did not steal your tenderness. You are dangerous because fear did not fully own your mouth. You are dangerous because even when you were tired, something in you still said, Lord, I trust you. And do not think this blessing is only coming to make you comfortable. No, this blessing is coming to break patterns. It is coming to break cycles of lack, cycles of fear, cycles of silence, cycles of instability, cycles of rejection, cycles of almost, cycles of family, pain, cycles of people starting but never finishing, cycles of praying but never expecting, cycles of surviving but never stepping into fullness. What God releases through you is going to speak backward and forward. It will answer what your ancestors cried about, and it will make a path for those coming after you. Your testimony will not be small. Your recovery will not be hidden forever. Your restoration will not be quiet forever. There will be people who watch the attack who will also have to watch the release. There will be people who knew you in the breaking, who will see you in the building. There will be people who thought the delay defined you, who will have to admit that God preserved you for something greater. I decree and declare right now, the same place where you were fought, will become the place where God displays victory. The battle was intense because the blessing carries weight. The resistance was strong because the release is generational. The warfare was loud because your testimony is going to be louder. The enemy was trying to stop your voice, your obedience, your confidence, your future, your family line, your public evidence, and your holy momentum, but he failed. You are still here. You are still covered. You are still marked. You are still moving. And what God placed on your life is now breaking through with power. And the turning point came in a place nobody clapped for. It did not come when you had all the answers. It did not come when everything finally made sense. It did not come when the people who hurt you apologized. It did not come when the money appeared, when the door opened, when the report changed, or when the promise became visible. The turning point came when something inside you stopped wrestling with what God never asked you to carry. Listen to me carefully, beloved. The chain lost its legal grip the moment surrender replaced control. Not because you stopped caring, not because you became weak, not because you gave up on the promise. No, the chain broke because you stopped partnering with the fear that kept the door shut. You stopped saying, if I do not force it, it will never happen. You stopped saying, if I do not manage every detail, everything will fall apart. You stopped saying, if I do not hold on to this person, this plan, this outcome, this timeline, then I will be forgotten. And heaven heard that release. There were hidden agreements operating under the surface. The fear of being forgotten, the resentment toward the waiting season, the bitterness toward people who left when you needed them to stay, the shame over needing help when you wanted to be strong, the quiet anger that said, Lord, why did you let it take this long? The ache that said, why did they walk away so easily? The heaviness that said, I should be further by now. But right there, in the place where you could have hardened your heart, you chose a quiet yes. And that quiet yes mattered more than the enemy's loud resistance. I need you to receive that. Your quiet yes shook more in the spirit than the attack that tried to intimidate you. Your quiet yes carried more authority than the accusation. Your quiet yes reached heaven when your voice could barely speak. When you said, Lord, I do not understand, but I will obey, something broke. When you said, Lord, I release what I cannot control, something broke. When you said, Lord, I will not take revenge, I will not become bitter, I will not make fear my counselor, something broke. Surrender was not you doing nothing. Surrender was active faith. Surrender was warfare with open hands. Surrender was refusing to chase what God was removing. Surrender was refusing to punish people because pain wanted a weapon. Surrender was choosing obedience when your emotions wanted control. Surrender was trusting God's timing when your flesh wanted proof right now. Surrender was saying, Father, I will not build an Ishmael because I am tired of waiting for Isaac. I will not create a counterfeit because the real thing has taken longer than I expected. That is why the chain could not hold you the same way anymore. It needed your panic. It needed your resentment. It needed your shame. It needed your fear of being left behind. It needed you to keep rehearsing who abandoned you, who misunderstood you, who delayed you, who did not help you, who did not call, who did not see your value. But when you placed all of it before God and said, I release my right to control the outcome, the chain lost its agreement. My child, heaven did not miss that moment. Heaven did not overlook the night you cried and still said yes. Heaven did not ignore the morning you wanted to quit but chose obedience. Heaven did not forget the time you helped someone else while your own need was still unanswered. Heaven saw you forgive without an audience. Heaven saw you stay soft when bitterness offered you armor. Heaven saw you ask for help and fight through the shame. Heaven saw you surrender the old cycle, and that surrender became a key. Now say this out loud, not later, not after you finish thinking about it, but right now. Father, I surrender the old cycle, and I receive the release you have commanded. Say it again with authority. Father, I surrender the old cycle, and I receive the release you have commanded. The door is not waiting for your control. The door is responding to your obedience. The blessing is not being released because you forced it. The blessing is moving because God commanded it. And now the fear that kept you gripping, striving, chasing, proving, and panicking is losing its voice. You are not holding the promise together. God is. You are not carrying what only heaven can carry. God is. You are not responsible for forcing what God has already ordained. Your assignment is to surrender, obey, trust, and walk forward. I decree and declare over you right now, the old cycle has lost its grip. The fear of being forgotten is broken. The resentment of waiting is being washed out of your spirit. The bitterness toward those who left is losing its poison. The shame connected to needing help is being lifted. You are not weak because you surrendered. You are powerful because you trusted God enough to let go. And the moment you release control, the chain that once held the blessing back lost its legal right to remain. And now you will recognize the breakthrough by the signs of sudden movement. Not always by the full manifestation at first. Not always by the whole door swinging open in one moment. Not always by everything changing overnight in a way that everybody can see. Sometimes the first proof that the blockage has broken is a whisper of movement, a message you did not expect, a conversation you did not plan, a decision that suddenly becomes clear, a door that resisted you before but now begins to open without you pushing, pleading, manipulating, or exhausting yourself. Listen to me carefully, beloved. Do not despise the small confirmations. Do not ignore the first signs because they do not look dramatic enough. Do not say, "This is too little to matter." Do not say, "Maybe this is nothing." Do not let the old disappointment make you suspicious of new movement. When a chain breaks, there is often a sound before there is distance. When a door unlocks, there is often a click before there is an opening. When heaven releases a blessing, there is often instruction before opportunity, opportunity before manifestation, and manifestation before public testimony. Within the next few days, watch. I am telling you, watch with a sober spirit and a surrendered heart. Watch for confirmation through a message, a conversation, a decision, or a door that previously resisted you. Someone may reach out who had gone quiet. An answer may come where there was only delay. A name may come back to your mind with unusual peace. A next step may become obvious after weeks of confusion. You may open something, read something, hear something, or remember something, and suddenly your spirit will say, "There it is." That is the direction. That is the confirmation. That is the movement. And you will know it because it will not carry the same heaviness. The old way carried pressure, fear, striving, panic, and confusion. This new movement will carry peace, even if it requires courage. It will carry clarity, even if it requires obedience. It will carry strength, even if it stretches you. You will not have to become frantic to recognize it. You will not have to chase it down like a person afraid of being forgotten. You will sense the difference. The heaviness will begin to lift. Your chest may stir while you listen to this. Tears may come, but not tears of sadness. Tears of release. Tears of recognition. Tears because your spirit knows something your eyes have not fully seen yet. Some of you will wake up with clarity. You will go to sleep confused and wake up knowing what you need to do. You will wake up with one sentence in your spirit. Call them. Apply again. Release it. Wait. Move. Write it down. Say yes. Say no. Forgive. Prepare. And it will not feel like the old anxious voice that drove you into panic. It will feel clean. It will feel steady. It will feel like instruction from the place of peace. Do not ignore that. Breakthrough often arrives first as instruction. Before the provision appears, God may give instruction. Before the relationship shifts, God may give instruction. Before the public door opens, God may give instruction. The instruction is part of the release. Some of you are going to feel pulled back into prayer, not forced, not condemned, pulled. There will be a holy drawing, a quiet ache to sit with God again, a desire to pray without begging, a desire to worship without needing to prove pain, a desire to listen. That is a sign. The enemy tried to make prayer feel heavy because he knew prayer would reconnect you to the sound of your next step. But now, the heaviness is lifting. The fog is breaking. The appetite for the presence of God is returning. You are not going back into prayer as a desperate beggar. You are going back as a child who knows the verdict has shifted. I decree and declare over you right now, sudden clarity is being released. Unexpected communication is being released. Unusual peace is being released. Sudden favor is being released. Restored energy is being released. Doors are reopening without manipulation. Paths are becoming visible without panic. The right people are being stirred. The right conversations are being arranged. The right timing is being aligned. What resisted you before will not be able to resist you the same way again. But hear the warning inside the confirmation. Do not try to make the sign become the whole blessing before its time. Do not take one message and run ahead of God. Do not take one open door and abandon discernment. Do not take one feeling and call it final if God has only given the first instruction. Stay surrendered, stay steady, stay obedient. The first movement is not permission to return to control. The first movement is confirmation that release has begun. You may see small doors opening before the full blessing becomes visible. You may receive a little favor before the larger provision arrives. You may feel peace before the circumstance changes. You may get clarity before the conversation happens. You may receive strength before the assignment is fully revealed. That does not mean nothing is happening. That means heaven is moving in order. God is not chaotic. God is not careless with what He has promised. He knows how to release the first sign, then the next step, then the open door, then the visible manifestation. So when the message comes, do not panic. When the conversation opens, do not shrink. When the decision becomes clear, do not delay, because fear wants one more confirmation. When the door that resisted you begins to open, do not run back to the old version of you that thought everything had to be forced. Walk through with peace. Walk through with humility. Walk through with obedience. Walk through knowing that this did not open because you manipulated it. This opened because the blockage broke. Say this now: I will recognize the movement. Say it again: I will recognize the movement. I will not despise small confirmations. I will not call peace nothing. I will not call clarity coincidence. I will not call favor random. I will not return to panic when God begins to move quietly. I will follow the instruction, receive the opportunity, and trust God for the manifestation. Beloved, the first proof of release may be sudden clarity. It may be unexpected contact. It may be a small door opening in a place that once resisted you. It may be the heaviness lifting from your mind. It may be the tears that come without sadness. It may be waking with direction. It may be feeling pulled back into prayer, but do not miss it. The blessing is already moving. The chain has lost its grip. The atmosphere has shifted. And now, the signs of sudden movement are beginning to appear. And now the door opening next will require a new version of your obedience. Hear me carefully, beloved. The blockage broke, but you cannot walk through this next door wearing the old fear, speaking the old language, carrying the old self-image, and expecting the new place to tolerate the old agreement. The door is opening, but the version of you that survived the delay is not the same version of you that must steward the release. That means the next instruction may stretch you. It may not come as comfort first. It may come as a decision. It may come as a conversation you have avoided. It may come as accepting help after years of trying to prove you did not need anyone. It may come as leaving a familiar place that kept you small. It may come as stepping into visibility when hiding felt safer. It may come as saying yes with shaking hands. It may come as saying no with a clean conscience. But do not mistake stretching for punishment. God is not punishing you. God is enlarging your capacity. This blessing is not coming only to soothe what hurt. It is coming to strengthen what must carry responsibility. Your discipline is being stretched. Your discernment is being sharpened. Your motives are being cleansed. Your faith is being made stronger. Your willingness to be seen is being healed, because some of you prayed for open doors, but secretly feared being visible when the door opened. You prayed for provision, but feared managing increase. You prayed for restoration, but feared trusting again. You prayed for purpose, but feared the weight of obedience that purpose requires. Listen, God is not sending you back to the life you had before the delay. He is not restoring you to the same mindset, the same patterns, the same panic, the same desperation, the same need to be approved by people who could not recognize your calling. No, He is bringing you into a higher assignment with cleaner motives, stronger faith, deeper obedience, and a steadier spirit. What broke behind you cannot define what opens before you. That is why old language must leave your mouth. Stop saying, "I always lose." Stop saying, "It never works for me." Stop saying, "I am too late." Stop saying, "I cannot handle this." Stop saying, "People like me do not get opportunities like this." That language belonged to the delay. It does not belong to the door. The new door requires new agreement. The new door requires you to speak like someone God has restored, walk like someone God has covered, decide like someone God has instructed, wait like someone who trusts the timing, move like someone who knows the chain is broken. And if you are ready to obey the next instruction, instead of returning to the old cycle, comment right now, "I will not go back." Not later, not after you feel brave, right now. Type it as a public refusal. I will not go back. I will not go back to fear. I will not go back to begging for what God already released. I will not go back to shrinking. I will not go back to confusion. I will not go back to the cycle that trained me to expect disappointment. My child, the next door will not require perfection, but it will require obedience. It will require you to listen quickly and obey cleanly. It will require you to stop asking fear for permission. It will require you to stop rehearsing who rejected you before you enter the room God prepared. It will require you to carry peace into places where you used to carry panic. It will require you to let God make you visible without apologizing for the light He placed on you. I decree and declare over you right now, a new obedience is rising, a stronger yes is rising, a cleaner courage is rising. You will not sabotage the open door with the habits of the closed season. You will not drag old fear into new favor. You will not let the old version of you interpret the new instruction. The door opening next is real, but it is calling for the version of you that surrender produced. Step forward. Obey the next instruction. God is not taking you backward. He is bringing you higher. And now understand this clearly, beloved. The blessing being released over your life is not one-dimensional. God is not touching one corner and leaving the rest broken. He is not opening one door while allowing every other area to remain in torment. No, the release is coming in order, layer by layer, area by area, place by place. What was tied up is being loosed. What was scattered is being gathered. What was delayed is being aligned. What was sick is being touched. What was silent is being awakened. First, provision is being released. I need you to hear that without fear arguing in the background. Provision, not fantasy, not confusion, not panic-driven striving. Provision according to God's order. Blocked resources are being released. Delayed payments are being released. Job opportunities are being stirred. Business movement is being awakened. Practical help is being sent. The thing that was supposed to arrive but kept getting held up. The answer that kept being postponed. The opportunity that kept circling but never landing. The support that seemed close but always disappeared. Heaven is putting order around it now. Some of you have watched money come in and disappear before it could meet the need. Some of you have been living under the pressure of one more bill, one more delay, one more unexpected expense, one more closed door. But the Lord is saying, I am not only sending increase, I am sending order, because provision without order becomes pressure again. Increase without wisdom becomes another cycle. But this time, God is releasing provision with instruction, provision with peace, provision with timing, provision with the right people, provision with the right opportunity, provision that does not require you to abandon your soul to receive it. I decree and declare right now, the resources assigned to your obedience are being unlocked, the payments that were held up are being released, the favor that was resisted is being released. The job door, the client door, the contract door, the interview door, the approval door, the practical help door, it is opening according to divine order, not by begging, not by panic, not by manipulation, by the command of God over what belongs to your assignment. And peace is being released. Real peace, not pretending, not smiling while your mind is screaming, not telling everybody you are fine while your chest carries a storm. The torment of overthinking is losing authority. The dread that met you in the morning is losing authority. The sleeplessness that kept your body tired and your mind racing is losing authority. The constant inner alarm, that feeling that something bad is always about to happen, that pressure that makes rest feel unsafe, it is losing its authority right now. My child, you have lived too long bracing for impact. You have expected disappointment because disappointment trained you. You have prepared for bad news before the phone even rang. You have replayed conversations, imagined rejection, rehearsed loss, and called it preparation. But heaven is breaking that inner alarm. God is not only changing what is around you, He is quieting what has been raging inside you. Peace is coming back to your mind. Peace is coming back to your sleep. Peace is coming back to your decisions. Peace is coming back to your body. Peace is coming back to the place where fear used to sit and give orders. And relationships are being released in order. Hear this carefully. Restoration does not mean every person gets access again. Restoration does not mean you reopen every door that God closed for your protection. Restoration does not mean you return to unhealthy patterns just because you miss familiarity. Some people will be healed, some people will be removed, some people will return differently, some people will not return at all, and some new divine connections will arrive with peace, honor, clarity, and purpose. Do not confuse loneliness with instruction. Do not confuse nostalgia with God's voice. Do not confuse guilt with obedience. There are relationships God is healing because the wound was not meant to be final. There are conversations God is preparing because humility is coming on both sides. There are family fractures, friendships, partnerships, and covenant places where the Lord is softening hearts and removing pride. But there are also connections that were drains, traps, cycles, and assignments of confusion. God is not sending you back to be diminished by what He delivered you from. So receive this with maturity. Some relationships will be restored, some will be released, some will be replaced. And you will have peace for each one when you stop asking pain to interpret God's order. The right people will not require you to become less obedient. The right people will not punish your healing. The right people will not need you broken in order to feel comfortable with you. Divine connections are coming. Helpers are coming. Wise voices are coming. People who can recognize the new version of you are coming. And health is being touched. Strength is being restored. Your body has carried battles your mouth did not know how to explain. Fatigue, heaviness, tension, headaches, pressure, exhaustion, emotional depletion, the weariness of always having to be strong. But the Lord is releasing restoration into your body and your nervous system. Rest is returning. Breath is returning. Stability is returning. You will not always feel like survival is the only thing your body knows how to do. Healing is moving in layers. Strength is coming back in layers. Energy is being restored in layers. Do not curse the gradual because it is not instant. God is still moving. And purpose is being awakened again. Dormant gifts are being stirred. Delayed assignments are being called forward. Silenced confidence is rising. The enemy tried to make you think you missed your moment. He tried to make you believe the delay disqualified you. He tried to bury your voice under disappointment and bury your creativity under survival. But the gift is not dead. The assignment is not canceled. The oil is still there. The calling is still there. The wisdom is deeper now. The compassion is stronger now. The discernment is sharper now. What you carry has been refined in the fire, not erased by it. I decree and declare over you right now, provision is coming into order. Peace is coming into order. Relationships are coming into order. Health is coming into order. Purpose is coming into order. Spiritual confidence is coming back. You will pray again without feeling abandoned. You will speak again without shrinking. You will decide again without panic. You will trust again without surrendering discernment. You will build again without expecting everything to collapse. The blessing is moving in layers. Do not rush one layer and miss the order. Do not demand the whole picture when God is giving you the next faithful step. Provision, peace, relationships, health, purpose, confidence, all of it is being touched by the hand of God. The delay did not destroy the blessing. The restraint has broken. The release has begun. And now restoration is coming into every area God has marked for His glory. And now hear this warning with a steady spirit. Do not let the old voices interpret the new door. The blockage has broken. The release has begun. Movement is appearing. Restoration is coming into order. But after a chain breaks, the enemy often tries one more strategy. If he cannot keep the door closed, he will try to make you afraid to walk through it. If he cannot stop the movement, he will try to corrupt your interpretation of the movement. If he cannot hold back the blessing, he will send old voices to make you doubt what God is doing. Listen to me carefully, beloved. The old voices are not always loud. Sometimes shame whispers, "You do not deserve this." Sometimes cynicism says, "Do not get excited, it will fall apart again." Sometimes jealous people dress concern in spiritual language and call it wisdom. Sometimes religious guilt says, "If God were really in this, you would not feel stretched." Sometimes family patterns speak through memory and tell you people like you never step into places like this. Sometimes past rejection rises up and says, "Remember what happened last time." And sometimes the inner critic, the voice that has been trained by disappointment, says, "This will fail again, so protect yourself by expecting nothing." But I decree and declare right now, those voices are losing their authority over your new season. Not every familiar voice is authorized. Not every person who knew you in your breaking is qualified to speak over your rebuilding. Not every opinion deserves access. Not every warning is discernment. Not every criticism is wisdom. Not every delay was rejection, and not every stretch is danger. Some voices sound familiar because they were present in your bondage, not because they were sent by God for your release. You must test the movement by fruit. Does it produce peace, even if it requires courage? Does it lead you into obedience, not rebellion? Does it agree with wisdom, not impulse? Does it come with confirmation, not confusion? Does it keep you humble, not arrogant? Does it align with the character of God, His holiness, His truth, His patience, His order, His love, His correction, His peace? If the door requires you to abandon integrity, it is not the door. If the voice requires you to become bitter, proud, frantic, secretive in sin, or careless with what God made holy, it is not the voice of the shepherd. Discernment is not suspicion. Discernment is protection. Discernment is not living afraid of every opportunity. Discernment is knowing what carries God's peace and what carries the old chain. Discernment is prayer before announcement. Discernment is patience before movement. Discernment is silence when silence protects the seed. Discernment is refusing to explain everything to people who are committed to misunderstanding the new thing God is doing in you. My child, there are some things you must guard quietly. There are some doors you must pray over before you post about them, before you defend them, before you invite every opinion into them. Joseph learned that not everyone can handle the dream while it is still tender. Mary pondered things in her heart before the world understood what heaven had placed inside her. You are not being secretive because you are afraid. You are being wise because the blessing must be stewarded. So do not hand the new door to the old fear. Do not let shame name it. Do not let cynicism poison it. Do not let jealous voices shrink it. Do not let religious guilt twist it. Do not let family patterns limit it. Do not let past rejection prophesy over it. Do not let the inner critic become the interpreter of a season God has already released. Say this right now: I will guard what God is releasing. Say it again: I will guard what God is releasing. I will not let unauthorized voices define my new door. I will test the fruit. I will walk in peace. I will obey with wisdom. I will pray before I explain. I will protect the blessing God has placed in motion. I decree and declare over you, your discernment is sharpening, your spirit is becoming steady, your ears are closing to the voice of fear and opening to the voice of God. You will know what to share and what to keep in prayer. You will know when to move and when to wait. You will know who is assigned to help and who is assigned to distract. The old voices will not interpret the new door. The released blessing is protected by the hand of God, and you will walk through with wisdom, peace, humility, and holy confidence. And now your public declaration seals your refusal to return to delay. Hear me carefully, beloved. This is not about promotion. This is not about noise. This is not about performing faith for people. This is about agreement. This is about making a visible mark in the place where heaven interrupted you and saying, I will not partner with the old restraint anymore. I will not speak like the delay still owns me. I will not hide in silence while God is calling me into release. There is power in what you agree with. There is power in what you confess. There is power when your mouth, your faith, and your obedience come into alignment with what God has already declared. The old season trained you to say nothing, expect nothing, and protect yourself from disappointment. But the released blessing requires a new sound, not a sound of panic, not a sound of striving, a sound of agreement, a sound of faith, a sound that says the chain is broken, the verdict is shifted, and I am not going back. So I want you to type this right now, not later, not after you think about it, not after fear argues with you. Type these words: the delay is broken and my blessing is released. Put it in the comments as your public agreement with this word. The delay is broken and my blessing is released. Let your own eyes see it. Let your own spirit hear it. Let the old fear know you are no longer available for the cycle that kept you bound. Type it with faith. The delay is broken and my blessing is released. Type it as a refusal. Type it as a witness. Type it as a line in the spirit. I am not returning to the old delay. I am not resurrecting the old agreement. I am not calling myself forgotten when God has remembered me. I am not calling myself rejected when heaven has opened a door. I am not calling myself stuck when the restraint has already broken. And if you need prayer, do not carry it alone in silence. Leave your prayer request in the comments. If you need provision, write it. If you need healing, write it. If you need peace in your mind, write it. If your family needs restoration, write it. If you need breakthrough from delay, write it. There are moments when asking for prayer is not weakness. It is alignment. It is humility. It is saying, I am standing in faith, and I am allowing agreement to surround what God is touching. I decree and declare that the prayer requests being released from sincere hearts will not be ignored by heaven. Provision requests are being covered. Healing requests are being covered. Peace requests are being covered. Family restoration requests are being covered. Breakthrough requests are being covered. The Lord sees the names, the details, the tears behind the words, the situations too heavy to explain fully, and the places where you have said, God, I need you to move. And listen, if someone came to your mind while you were hearing this, send this to them. Not as pressure, not as manipulation, not to overwhelm them. Send it because they have been waiting too. Send it because someone else needs hope while they stand in the hallway between promise and manifestation. Send it because you are not only receiving release for yourself, you are becoming someone who stands beside another person in faith. And if these messages have been meeting you in the exact place of your battle, subscribe and stay connected, not casually, not out of habit. Stay connected for the warnings, the prayers, the confirmations, and the breakthrough words God will continue to send in the days ahead. There are moments when continued covering matters. There are moments when you need the next instruction, the next prayer, the next reminder, the next word that keeps you from turning back. Say it again before we move forward. The delay is broken and my blessing is released. My child, that declaration is not empty. It is your visible refusal to return to what God has already broken. The old delay is not your home. The old chain is not your identity. The old silence is not your agreement. Heaven has released movement, and your declaration says, I receive it, I stand in it, and I will not go back. Now we pray over the released blessing and the closed door behind you. Stay right here, beloved. Do not rush this moment. Do not let your mind wander. Do not treat prayer like an ending when heaven is using it as a seal. This is where we place your mind, your provision, your relationships, your purpose, and your next steps under the covering of God. This is where we thank Him that the blockage has broken. This is where we declare that no weapon formed against your blessing will prosper. It formed, but it will not prosper. It attacked, but it will not win. It delayed, but it will not own the outcome. Father, in the name of Jesus, I thank you for the one listening right now. I thank you that this moment was not random. I thank you that heaven interrupted them, held them, spoke to them, warned them, strengthened them, and brought them into agreement with release. I thank you that the hidden restraint has been exposed, the chain has lost its grip, the old cycle has been confronted, and the blessing assigned to their life is now moving under your authority. I thank you that no curse, no lie, no demonic resistance, no familiar pattern, no old fear, no accusation, and no weapon formed against this released blessing will prosper. Right now, I pray over their mind. Peace where there was torment, clarity where there was confusion, courage where there was fear, stability where there was panic, rest where there was exhaustion. Let every racing thought come under the authority of Jesus. Let every anxious imagination lose its volume. Let every lie that said, it will never happen, be silenced by the truth of your word. Let the mind that was trained by disappointment be renewed by divine assurance. Let them think clearly. Let them sleep peacefully. Let them decide wisely. Let them stop rehearsing disaster and start recognizing movement. I decree and declare over your mind right now, you will not be tormented by the season God already delivered you from. You will not keep replaying the old pain as if it still has permission to lead you. You will not confuse caution with fear. You will not confuse wisdom with paralysis. You will have the mind of Christ. You will have a steady spirit. You will have clean discernment. Your thoughts are coming into order. Your emotions are coming into order. Your imagination is being washed from the pictures fear painted inside you. Father, I pray over their provision. Open the right doors. Send honest opportunities. Send divine help. Send resources assigned to purpose. Break the pressure of lack. Break the shame connected to need. Break the cycle of money coming in and disappearing before the assignment can be fulfilled. Release wisdom that breaks debt. Release discipline that protects increase. Release favor that cannot be manipulated by man. Release work that carries dignity. Release ideas that carry provision. Release connections that bring ethical opportunity and not compromise. I decree and declare, provision will not destroy your peace. Increase will not pull you away from God. Opportunity will not require you to abandon integrity. The door that opens next will carry the fingerprint of heaven. The resource assigned to your obedience will find you. The help assigned to your purpose will recognize you. The delay over approvals, payments, contracts, interviews, sales, support, and practical needs is being confronted by divine order. You will not beg for what God has commanded to move. You will receive with humility. You will steward with wisdom. You will give glory to God. Father, I pray over their relationships. Heal what is ordained, remove what is destructive, strengthen what is holy, expose what is counterfeit. Send connections that strengthen obedience, not weaken it. Send people who pray, not pray. Send people who sharpen, not drain. Send people who can love the healed version of them, not only control the wounded version of them. Where reconciliation is, your will, soften hearts. Where distance is protection, give them peace. Where a door must remain closed, remove the guilt. Where a new connection is being sent, give them discernment to recognize it without fear. I decree and declare, you will not return to destructive access because loneliness spoke loudly. You will not reopen what God closed behind you. You will not confuse familiar pain with covenant. You will not let guilt drag you back into a cycle that God broke. The right relationships are coming into order. The wrong voices are losing influence. The ordained connections will carry peace, humility, correction, love, and purpose. Your circle is being purified. Your heart is being guarded. Your obedience is being strengthened. Father, I pray over their purpose and their next steps. Let them obey quickly and cleanly. Let them move when you say move. Let them wait when you say wait. Let them speak when you say speak. Let them be silent when silence protects the seed. Let every gift that was buried under survival begin to breathe again. Let every calling that was delayed begin to rise again. Let every place of confidence that was crushed be restored with holy boldness. Do not let them sabotage the release through fear, procrastination, pride, panic, or old agreement. I decree and declare, the old cycle is closed. The door behind you is closed. The bondage behind you is closed. The agreement behind you is closed. The fear behind you is closed. The shame behind you is closed. The delay behind you is closed. And what God has released over your life is protected by His hand. You will not talk yourself out of it. You will not shrink from it. You will not poison it with unbelief. You will not hand it to unauthorized voices. You will not return to what God broke just because it once felt familiar. Every restored area will bring glory to God. Your peace will bring glory to God. Your provision will bring glory to God. Your healing will bring glory to God. Your relationships will bring glory to God. Your obedience will bring glory to God. Your testimony will bring glory to God. The blessing is not loose without covering. It is released under protection. It is moving under command. It is sealed in prayer. And I decree and declare over you right now, you are covered, your door is guarded, your mind is steadied, your next step is ordered, and the closed door behind you will not reopen. Amen. Now walk forward like the blessing is already moving. Do not look back. Do not keep checking the closed door to see if it misses you. Do not speak defeat over what heaven has already released. Do not chase what God removed. Do not shrink when the new door opens just because the old season trained you to expect disappointment. My child, the blockage is broken. The restraint has snapped. The verdict has shifted. The chain has lost its legal grip. Now your walk must agree with your release. Listen to me carefully, beloved. You cannot carry tomorrow with yesterday's language. You cannot enter the new door while rehearsing the old fear. You cannot receive ordered blessing while still calling yourself stuck, forgotten, rejected, delayed, and abandoned. No. From this moment forward, speak like heaven heard you. Walk like God is gone before you. Obey like the answer is already in motion. Prepare like provision is coming into order. Rest like peace has permission to live in your house again. What held back the blessing has broken. What resisted the answer has fallen. What accused you has been silenced. What delayed you has lost authority. What God released will arrive in order, not in panic, not in confusion, not under the old pressure. In order, step by step, door by door, sign by sign, confirmation by confirmation. You will not force what God is releasing. You will not beg for what God has commanded to move. You will not return to the agreement that once kept the door shut. So lift your head, straighten your spirit. Let your words come into alignment. Let your decisions come into alignment. Let your obedience come into alignment. The blessing is already moving. The answer is already moving. The help is already moving. The peace is already moving. The restoration is already moving. And you will recognize it because your spirit will not feel owned by fear the way it once did. If you believe the delay has broken, like this video right now as your agreement. Subscribe for the next prophetic word, because there is more instruction coming for the door that is opening before you. Share this with someone who has been waiting for release, someone who has been standing in the hallway between promise and manifestation, and comment these words right now. I receive my released blessing. Type it with faith. I receive my released blessing. Let that declaration stand as a witness that you are not going back. Leave your prayer requests below. If you need healing, write it. If you need protection, write it. If you need provision, write it. If you need peace, write it. If you need breakthrough, write it. Let this community stand with you in faith, not in fear, not in gossip, not in doubt, but in agreement that God is covering what He is releasing. I bless you now in the name of Jesus. Receive it, believe it, guard it, walk in it. The door behind you has closed, and the door before you is opening. The blessing was not denied. It was delayed until the restraint broke, and now it is moving. Amen.